Hey, this is former WWE wrestler and ECW original, The Blue Meanie, and you're listening to just another wrestling podcast. So listen or else.
Another wrestling podcast. Let's get ready to rumble.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
It's time for another wrestling podcast.
Oh my God!
We are taking over.
Drink it in, man.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
They think they got the answers. I change the questions.
Awesome!
When we talk about the legends of the sport, there's only two in my book.
AWB, another wrestling podcast. Bada boom, realest guys in the world. How
you doing? All right. Welcome to another wrestling podcast. This is episode 146. I'm Credo.
And I'm Angry Kuter.
Each and every week we are here to show you we're more than just a podcast.
We are the whole fucking show.
Now, Angry Kuter, I know you're very excited because this week we have the original gangster, New Jack, joining us. And I promise you, he's not here to kill you or stab you on the show, but he is here and he's going to be talking to us. I mean, come on. It can't get any better than that.
I've been looking forward to this for God knows how long. New Jack is just one of my all-time favorite characters. I mean, and the thing about New Jack that you love is he is absolutely hilarious. I have seen so many shoot interviews with him, and there's always a new story. He's just an incredible guest, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Yes, guys, also last week we were talking at the top of the show, we were talking about our friend Mike Colon. Some of you out there might know him as Minority Mike, but he visited NXT a week ago. He was down there for the tapings. He had quite the experience, so we heard a brief story about that from Angry Kuter himself last week, but we're bringing him in this week. Mike is here. He's on the show. Mike, welcome to another wrestling podcast. How's it going?
It's going, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys having me on to talk about my little adventure down in Orlando.
I guess start from the beginning and work your way to the end, man. Tell us your adventure.
I had to go down there. Everybody that knows me knows that I'm a very avid NXT fan. I've been a fan of this since day one, before NXT when it was FCW, into the transition of NXT. I would always watch NXT on Hulu Plus before the network. So I always had it on my bucket list that I have to take a trip down to Full Sail University, like, soon. Like, I have to do it. Every time I would check, tickets were sold out. One day, I just went on there to check to see if tickets were available for the Albany, New York show, which is February 11th. On there, I saw there was tickets available for Full Sail. $10. That's all it was to get tickets. They were $10. Yeah, wow. $10. So I was like, you know what? You only live once. I had to do it. I clicked it, bought 2 tickets. I was like, I will figure out the flight information, everything on a later date. Flew down there, and right around the corner was or down the road, was the Performance Center. So everybody knows the Performance Center. Everybody knows where everybody trains, gets ready to get that transition to the main roster. I had to see the Performance Center for myself. I just wanted to see it in person. So I went there, and the place doesn't look as big, but I had to go there and see it for myself. I went there. I stayed across the street. There's no way I was going onto that property. After the shooting that happened last year, that crazy guy,
oh man,
I did not want to end up on the news.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm standing across the street. I'm taking a picture, just taking it all in, and I hear this voice telling me, hey, no photographs, no pictures, no autographs. You got to leave. I look down, and it's Michael Cole. And I'm just like, oh, well, I mean, no worries. I'm not interested. You got to get out of here. He's like, technically, you're trespassing. And he looked mad.
Jeez.
Like, my man looked like he had a bad day, and he just happened to take it out on the first person he saw, which was me. Oh. So I'm like, no worries. I'm going to go to my car. I'm going to get out of here. Full Sail University is right around the corner from the Performance Center. So, and the thing I got to say is if you get a chance to go to an NXT taping, don't hesitate. Do it. Any fan of professional wrestling needs to go. They call this the NXT universe for a reason, because it's exactly what it is. It's a universe. It's like a different world you go to where everybody knows everybody. I compare it to where if you have season tickets to the Yankees and you're sitting in the bleachers and you got that same crew of people every day. They know you by name. They know you where you sit. This is your spot. No one else is sitting in your spot. That's exactly how it is in there.
Wow.
Does it resemble how we had the hat guy in ECW and the sign guy in ECW, like that kind of mentality, right?
It's exactly like that. Like they had Fat Sasso, all those people that you saw on TV, the earmuff guy, they call him. It was the guy that was covering his son's ears while chanting "Holy shit." That guy was there. Izzy was, there. Izzy's a regular there. That girl has like season tickets.
Man. So how many shows did they have there when you went there? How many tapings was it?
They did 4. There was 4 tapings. It
was like a month, pretty much.
It was a long night. It was a long night, but it was it didn't drag.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think, as a person going down there, have you ever gone to the TNA tapings at all, or because it's like the same mentality in a way? Because a lot of people hated TNA because they always stayed in one place, right? So they never really traveled, and it was always the TNA arena. Now NXT has like that arena, but it doesn't have that same feel, though, right? I mean, everybody knows that it's the NXT place where they do it each and every week, but they don't have as much heat as TNA did for doing it at the same place all the time, right?
No, I've never been to I've never been to a TNA show. I don't think you could pay me to go to a TNA show right now.
Well, you got to look at it. You got to look at it from this side too. I mean, TNA did their TV show from the Impact Zone. They did all their pay-per-views in the Impact Zone. At least NXT, they travel, they do the house shows, and they have pay-per-view caliber shows outside of the. When was the last time they even had a pay-per-view like type card in Full Sail? They don't even have those anymore, not since the first NXT Brooklyn, I'd say.
No, they're gonna do tape before every big pay-per-view now.
Now, Mike, did you guys have any breaks in between the shows, or is it just non-stop matches, just going, back and forth for the four tapings?
No intermissions. It was just straight through.
Wow.
How many hours is that?
It took a while. Like they literally started the tapings at 6:30 on the dot, and I didn't get out of there till about 9:30, 10.
Wow. It's 4 hours. Damn.
Two things that really stood out to me. A lot of stuff that happens off the record, like off the air. The ring announcer, he comes out with these socks, and when he comes out, the chants of socks happens, and he lifts up his pant leg, and I get every tapings he has these white airbrush socks, and this tapings he had one with like all the Suicide Squad characters and the previous he has all these crazy Marvel characters, DC characters, and they give him like a cheering standing ovation. So before every match, when a new person comes into the ring, the crowd chants socks, show your socks. And the ref has to lift their pant leg and show their socks, and if their socks aren't good, he gets booed. So
what?
Yeah. So the majority of the time, like everybody is booing each ref because they're all coming out with these plain black socks. And then you got the ring announcer who lifts up his pant leg and gets a standing ovation every time. And he was a real cool dude because at the end of the show, like he was just hanging out with everybody at the guardrail, and I was talking to him and he was showing us the socks. Mm-hmm. And he guaranteed me that at the NXT show in Albany, he was going to come with some real shit in his exact words.
Nice. Now, I saw other photos on your social media. You happened to make it into William Regal's office. Tell us the whole story about how you found the general manager's office.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. That's pretty much how it happened. I was wandering around Full Sail. They had this place called the Quad, where a lot of the students hang out, and right next to it's a Starbucks. And surprisingly, if you go to that Starbucks, you're going to run into people And I ran into Tyler Bates, Trent Steven. So I really had to piss, like, bad. So I started wandering around Full Sail, going through, like, all the classes, and I saw this one room, these lights, and I just poked my head in there. And I just saw the big NXT logo on the TV in there, and I'm like, this is William Regal's office. This is the office that he gets in arguments all the time with people, where he books his matches, where he does everything. So I'm looking around. I see all the camera equipment set up, the lights set up, but no one's home. And so I'm just like, you know what? I will never get this opportunity ever again. So I went right into William Regal's office and I sat down in his chair. And I just sat there and I felt like, you ever see Borat when he's sitting in a chair and he's like, king of the castle, king of the castle.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I was a general manager at NXT for a little bit, sitting in this chair, and took some selfies, took some videos, and then I got the hell out of there.
I was laughing my ass
that's pretty much how I am.
I'm literally in the middle of work, and all of a sudden, this jabroni is sitting there sending me selfies. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that Regal's office? He's like, yup. He's like, you son of a bitch.
It would have been really fun if he just walked in, right?
Yeah, they literally have it in a hallway, and across the hallway is a classroom with a class going on.
Wow.
Imagine Regal just walks in while you're in there and be like, what the fuck are you doing in my office?
I'm trying to get a concept. That's what I'm doing.
So I'm amazed. So you pretty much just paid $10 for pretty much 4 NXT shows, right?
4 NXT shows. It was well worth the investment.
Nice. Anything else happened on your journey down there? Anything else you could tell us about?
I wandered across Full Sail. I stumbled into Nigel McGuinness. He was no Michael Cole. He was very humbled. Cool thing. He was just going over his notes outside, and I just happened to be wandering around, taking in the campus, and I saw him and I talked to him, and he just no hesitation to come take a picture with me. I had a brief conversation with him. He's very happy to be where he is. He just seems so happy where he is today, and it's good to see him because I've always been a fan of Nigel McGuinness when he was in ROH. His feuds with Daniel Bryan were amazing, and to just see him finally in the WWE. I mean, obviously it's not in the ring where he wants to be, but it's still a part of the WWE family. So I'm just happy as a fan to see him there. So when I saw him, it was great to see him.
Yeah, man. And Kuter, that goes back to a story we had. I mean, we were at Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Bryan's last match against each other at Ring of Honor years ago, and now it's like, man, years later, he was actually supposed to get hired by the WWE. Then I understood that something happened with the medical.
He failed the physical afterwards, and I remember thinking that because I think Nigel was the one that they actually really wanted more.
Yeah.
From what I was, or at least from what I was made to believe, and then, next thing you know, he's down in TNA, and they stuck Daniel Bryan in NXT. So I mean, the rest is history. But I mean, that was one hell of a match, and I mean, those Ring of Honor crowds, they just they're not as rabid as, say, an ECW crowd, but, it's up there, man, and they're just fun.
Definitely. Well, Mike, it's such an awesome story. I mean, I think everybody from what you just said just needs to, if they're down there, or, hey, spend $10 and, head on down there. I mean, I think it's well worth it.
The $10 investment. I mean, the crowd, the energy. I'm not much of a chanter when I go to the wrestling shows. I'm more of I'm focused into the match. But when you're there, you just get so sucked in with the crowd, and then you find yourself chanting and yelling and screaming. I mean, there's a lot of good matches you're going to see in the next couple of weeks coming on NXT TV. I mean, the United Kingdom Championship was defended. I got to sit there and watch that. That was the match of the night. A couple other great matches you're going to run across. It was just a great experience. I came across when I was sitting in the bleachers at the NXT tapings. I was talking to everybody. They called me New York Mike. That's what they named me. And then somebody turned around and asked me, "Are you Mike from the Marks for Life group?"
Ooh.
I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "John Betts." I'm like, I'm John Betts. I've been talking to you about the NXT show for a while. So a member from the Marks for Life group was actually sitting in front of me at the NXT tapings.
Look at that. That's small world.
That was, yeah. The Revival was the most over out of anybody there. It didn't translate well yesterday on TV when I was watching it, but the crowd was just going nuts for the Revival. And the dark match was Mandy Rose enough.
Oh, yes, that's another sexy bitch.
She's from our home neck of the woods
right now. Yorktown Heights.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, Mandy Rose is coming along great.
Nice.
In the ring.
She's awesome.
She's got a new theme. She's got a new theme song, and the crowd was singing along to it because it sounds like that one song, Sweet Cherry Pie. By Warrant.
Didn't
Cherry
she
Pie
have a match on there recently, too? I mean, she looked pretty good.
She looked great. She had this great finisher that the crowd was just shocked that she could actually pull it off.
Nice.
I'd love to dunk my donut in that cup of coffee. Let me just say that right now.
Do a lot of bad things.
If I do that, then I might have more than a skid mark on my underwear. So,
Nice. Awesome. Well, Mike, I mean, you're here. Might as well just stick around for the rest of the show. What do you say?
I'm cool with that. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, man. Kuter, it's another crazy week of wrestling, so let's just get right into the week that was, shall we? All right, guys, so no definite answer on Seth Rollins. I mean, Monday night I was sure to hear them say, due to last week's injury, Seth Rollins will be out for, 5 months, 6 months, whatever. He's not going to make Mania. But they didn't say no and they didn't say yes. I don't know. I mean, are they still just kind of playing it safe and just seeing if, if it's really that bad? Or I don't know. I mean, there's still no word really exactly with what's happening with him and Mania, right?
I feel completely terrible for Seth Rollins, and I also feel bad for Samoa Joe at the same time because here he is making his debut on the main roster, and he basically unintentionally injures the guy who is going to be in probably what's one of the biggest angles that Raw has going on with the whole Seth Rollins Triple H thing. And now Seth Rollins, who's possibly going to miss his second WrestleMania in a row. I mean, it just doesn't get any worse than that. And I think they're just playing it safe because they're probably hoping that he's going to be like Super Cena and just like heal immaculately. But I mean, knee injuries, Mike, I mean, you would know better than anybody.
Yeah, I've had a couple of knee injuries in my days of MMA. And MCL, it all depends on the grade of the tear. Grade 1, grade 2, as the numbers go higher, the tears get worse. I remember Ariel Helwani from the MMA Hour. He was talking about how Frankie Edgar, he had an MCL tear. It was a grade 1 tear. It was he had that preparing for his fight against Jeremy Stevens for UFC 205 at the Garden.
Oh, no kidding.
It took him about 6 to 7 weeks to fully heal from that tear. So if Seth Rollins has a grade 1 tear, you're looking at 6 to 7 weeks, possibly a little longer. He should be good to go by Mania, but it's up to the WWE doctors to make that call.
But now, like, for him, what would you say, too? Because, like, this is pretty much just over a year since his first injury on his leg, and now it's a second one. Being that it's, like, the second injury, not the same injury, but a second injury on the same leg and whatnot, do you think, they would be more cautious and just be like, hey, we really need to let this heal a lot more? Or I don't know. I don't know how they would play that. Especially, long story short, is it worth rushing him just for WrestleMania?
I think they should. I think they need him on that card. I think they need that Triple H versus Seth Rollins match. And there's ways they could play it safe. Like, we all know how Seth Rollins is crazy in the ring and he wants to do everything he possibly can, but they could build a story in the ring. Triple H can work that knee, which keeps him grounded.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to do these aerial maneuvers, and they could keep it based on the ground and safe.
And do you think, too, guys, do you think if he does come back and has a match at Mania will be his first match? Like, they're not going to give him any other kind of match, like even Raw or whatever, just to play it more safe?
You want my opinion is I really would not even want to see him in a match with Triple H unless he is at 100%, because this is a feud that's been building for so long, and for the climactic end of this feud to happen with a half-ass match, as great as that storytelling would be, I want to see it done with the two of them at their best. I think the angle deserves it, and I think the fans deserve that too. I hate when WWE rushes people to come back just for the draw. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you actually care about these WrestleMania moments, then they really need to start making them count, because look at last year's card. That thing was in shambles. and we got Shane McMahon trying to commit suicide, jumping off of a fucking cell. I mean, is it worth it? I don't think so.
Sure. Now, I keep picturing back in my head now. I feel like they should have never have done this on Raw, to where I would have been more happy to see. And this is just me. I mean, I would have been more happy to see Seth as like number 30 or 29, and then you have Samoa Joe at 30, to where Seth does whatever. Then you have like that same kind of incident to where, Samoa Joe gets rid of Seth during the Rumble or something like that. I mean, did you think they really needed to keep him off the Royal Rumble pay-per-view just to have that one moment on Raw? I mean, I don't know. I think that was lazy, and they had so many other spots they could have used to bring in Seth and to bring in Samoa just for, another surprise and whatnot. I feel like that could have all been tied into the Rumble and not have been saved for Raw. Do you think that should have been done, or I don't know?
I totally could not disagree with you more, because the reason they did what they did was they used the heat magnet so they can get Orton those cheers. And if you have Seth Rollins and then Samoa Joe at 29 and 30, then the reaction that they wanted for Orton is going to switch from him getting booed out of the building. So for them to save that for the next night, in my opinion, was the right move. What do you think, Mike?
I think that it was the right move. They told the story the night before on the NXT show, and they kept him off the Rumble. And I think him staying off the Rumble helped build to the storyline with him versus Triple H.
All right. Well, poor Seth Rollins. I really hope he does make it. I feel so bad for him. And at this point, he missed the Rumble, and now he could miss WrestleMania again for 2 years in a row. Horrible. But hopefully that all gets fixed and whatnot.
Yeah, let's just say Seth Rollins doesn't get cleared and he can't go. Who fills that spot versus Triple H at Mania?
Nobody. I don't want to see a half-assed. Well, you know what? I take that back. Let's. Well,
I would save it here. If you think about that, I would save and make it the Raw versus SmackDown match, to where you have Triple H and his guy versus Shane McMahon and his guy, to where we keep both Triple H and Shane McMahon off the card, and B, you have your Raw versus SmackDown, a brand versus brand match at WrestleMania, and that's the only thing I would do. I mean, just if Triple H is going to fight somebody, it would have to be Seth Rollins, and maybe only Seth Rollins. But if he doesn't, make him, captain of, he could have Samoa Joe versus somebody from SmackDown, and just do that and keep it brand versus brand, and it doesn't really interfere in anybody else's storyline, and I think that's the safe bet, maybe.
I was actually thinking Triple H versus Kevin Owens, but now that you threw that tag idea, I would say, why not do Triple H and Samoa Joe versus Owens and Jericho? Because I got a feeling they're taking that belt off of Owens. I really don't think they should. I know. I agree with you. It's disgusting, Mike.
Don't get me started on that topic.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because it does make sense to where Kevin Owens was the Triple H guy. Now Samoa Joe is the Triple H guy. It's almost like we're gonna have a new Triple H guy every year. But that's another. It's just that's another one that makes sense though. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we're all pulling for Seth pretty much to make it and be 100%. But guys, I got other big news for you. Eva Marie may be done with WWE. I know you're shocked.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
All Red Everything?
All Red Everything is now, well, she's back to her normal hair color. Her social media, she's unfollowed WWE's account. She's removed WWE Superstar from her bio. And I don't know. Did her contract run up? Did she opt out? I don't know. I don't think we're going to see her grace the WWE again, guys. I know some may be hopeful out there, but I think she's probably done. Good move, bad move? Does anybody care?
That's it. I'm going to cancel my WWE network now. That's it. All Red Everything is gone. Like, what's the purpose of watching WrestleMania now? Like, I'm just... I'm hurt right now. I'm hurt.
The sad thing about this is that I think she was one of the only people, well, not the only, but I mean, she was made to be a wrestler, to where they hired her because she was hot, and they're like, shit, we got to use her. And somebody was like, well, let's put her in the ring. No, she never needed to be in the ring. They could have used her as a valet, as a manager, as anything else but a wrestler, and that's where I think they made the wrong decision. I mean, did she really need to wrestle? Like, I could have cared less if she was a wrestler or not. I mean, a manager or valet would have been fine with me. I don't know.
You know, I think she would be a really good role for her. She'd make a really great body warmer for me. Just saying. I mean, it is cold. We just had this giant snowstorm. How do I feel about her leaving the ring? Oh man, she's really hot. Did I forget to mention that?
She's now going to be the fluffer for Cooter. She's going to be Cooter's fluffer for the show.
Yeah, right. She could be my fluffer, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, if she wants to come,
she can go from pro wrestling to a pro wrestling podcast fluffer.
If she wants to come to Kingston, New York, where I'm from, and wear her ring gear and just walk into my place with her entrance music and then take her robe off, I'm perfectly content with that. She could do that every day.
I think we spent too much time on Eva, and it was only about a minute or so, but that's more than enough. But Cooter, Big Show, have you seen this picture? Guys, have you seen this photo of Big Show preparing for Mania?
I have not seen a picture. I've seen a picture of Shaq.
Get onto our group. Go to the Marks group. It's for everybody listening out there. Facebook.com/group/Pro Wrestling Marks.
Get the hell out of here!
That is the Big Show, guys.
Spray paint abs on?
That's the Big Show, man. I mean, it could be his possibly his last match in the WWE against Shaquille O'Neal. And he's getting in shape for it. I mean, the first match he's ever been in, the most shape, I guess, ever in his career. Too little, too late. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think?
God, he looks good. I got to give him credit. He's really getting himself in the shape. He put them Twinkies down, and he picked up a set of dumbbells. My man's looking good. I give him credit. Good for him.
Guess he wants to go out on top, right?
It is a shame, though. I see where you're going with that, though. I mean,
it's like, man,
this is some. Yeah, why would you not have been in that kind of shape throughout your career?
I mean, they could probably use them more, and maybe he just got lazy through the years and just, he just didn't care as much.
He's always been lazy. I mean, I've never really seen a match where I was really impressed with, his speed or his agility. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, this is the Big Show.
Well, I don't know.
He's getting in solid shape right now because not only the fact that he's facing Shaq at WrestleMania, but because it's Shaq, you're going to have the mainstream media and the outlets and ESPN and everything watching because it's Shaq, and he's going to be Shaq's dance partner, so he's got to look good.
And Shaq's looking diesel too, bro. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Hey, little personal story. I just met Shaq this week, and I didn't know. Oh, I did know. I was like, oh, how old is he? He's 44, right? And I was like, all right. Yep. I met him in person. He does not look 44. I mean, he still looks like he's in his 30s. TV does age you a little bit when you're seen on screen, but man, in person, I was like, wow. He doesn't look 44 or whatever. So it's going to be interesting though to see both of them in the ring, and if that's the way they're going, or do you think they're going to give them a one-on-one match? That has to be what they need, right? This is the celebrity match, right?
Well, I mean, they did the Battle Royal last year. If they do that 2 years in a row with both of them in there, it'd be really stupid, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. I think they need the one-on-one.
And believe it or not, Big Show is 45, so they're just a year apart. So they're pretty much the same age, and fighting each other. I don't know. Do you think this is going to be good or bad? If I don't know, they're both in shape, but still, I mean, Shaq's not really a wrestler, nor has he. I don't know, really ever wrestled.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, Big Show he knows how to work a match. I mean, look at the match that he had with Floyd Mayweather. I mean, you can say what you want about Floyd, but Big Show did right by him. He showed him how to have a good match, and there wasn't anybody who watched that match was like, wow, that sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, they made the ending the way they had to because, I mean, Floyd Mayweather's 150 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you had to do what you had to do to get that result. But at the same time, Big Show is knows what he's doing.
Shaq's an entertainer too, man. I think he could work the crowd. I mean, I think he knows. He knows how to read people's reactions and stuff. I think he's more than the average basketball player, if you will. He's done some of his movies and whatnot. So I don't know. I think I think he knows how to entertain the wrestling fans. So we'll see though. But big show now with big abs, I guess. Interesting. It's interesting. Needless to say. I don't know. Austin Aries though, guys. Austin Aries is cleared to wrestle. He's been stepping it up, interviewing all the guys in the cruiserweight division every week, kind of egging them on.
I love him so much. I don't even want to see him wrestle anymore. I enjoy him so much on commentary, but I am looking forward to watching him get back in the ring and jam his thumb in somebody's eye.
Hey, needless to say, I'm excited. I hope they do right by Austin Aries, because he's definitely a guy who should have been probably in the WWE for a long time now. And it's kind of funny, man. CM Punk wanted all these guys like Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, and man, a few years later, look, they're all in there and he's not even around. So it's definitely a different landscape for sure. But
hell yeah, they even brought back Chris Hero, for Christ's sake.
I know. Anything can happen, guys. Anything can happen. And one last thing too, just to bring up, the network has dropped JBL's Legends show. For a network that is trying to bring on new shows to entice new customers, they're just dropping one, and it's not even that probably a big of a deal to produce every week. It's literally just sitting down and talking to a legend. It's not like it's some extravagant production work.
Yeah, we got to make room for season 3 of Holy Foley. Get out of here.
Well, they got to make room for Camp WWE. That great show.
So it's interesting.
Worst show on the network.
Poor JBL, but I watched some of it, but I was like, I don't know. I guess it was just they're trying things out. Somebody didn't like it, and then they're moving on. I guess moving on with life.
I don't understand what the point of all the God, the programming that they put on there. You think if it's going to be a non-wrestling show, at least it has something to do with wrestling. What are we getting from Holy Foley? What are we getting from Camp WWE? It's the stupidest shit that I've ever seen in my life. And you know what? Sometimes, I do enjoy a good shoot interview. I really do. So for somebody like JBL to get to interview a legend, it's interesting to me. These guys have great road stories. They have great memories. They have their point of view of how things were, and that's something that I think fans like me, the smart marks, the ones who want to know outside of the ring what's going on. No, we get this bullshit.
And a lot of these guys too. They don't care too much for doing podcasts, and for them to be interviewed on a WWE camera for WWE TV, I think it was a big deal to have some legends on there, but I guess they see it another way. So no more JBL's Legends, guys. I think the last one's going to be with Jimmy Hart, and then that's it. So it'll probably
great. We get to hear a whole hour of him putting Hogan over. Great.
That's it. It's setting up the Hogan return. So we're gonna have Hogan's Legends next. They're replacing JBL with Hogan. We're gonna find out. That's it. But Kuter, man, I'll let you do the honors, because this is your guest coming up. So if you wanna, talk him up.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the original gangster, the natural-born killer himself, New Jack.
To the mind of a maniac, doomed to be a killer since I came out the nutsack. I'm in a murderous mind state with a heart full of terror. I see the devil in the mirror. Buck, lights out. Cause when I grab my sword off, niggas get hauled off. Barrel 1, touch your motherfucking flesh. Barrel 2, touch your fucking heart at your chest. You see, I'm quick to let the hammer go click. On my Tech 9, so if you try to wreck mine, foolish your bedtime. Feel the blast from the chocolate bomber. Infrared, aim at your head like your name was Sarah Connor. Decapitation, I ain't hesitating to put you in a funeral home with a bullet in your dome. I'm hot like lava. You got a problem? I got a problem solver, and his name is Revolver. It's like a deadly game of freeze tag. I touch you with a 44 mag, and you're frozen inside a body bag. Nobody iller than this graveyard filler, cap pillar. Cause I'm a natural born killer.
All right, joining us today is the balcony-diving, weapon-wielding architect of pain, a man who has spent decades leaving pools of blood in the ring. Truly the world's most dangerous man, New Jack. New Jack, man, thanks for joining us.
What's good, man? What's good?
So you'll be appearing with ESS Promotions in March, which we'll mention in a little bit. But first off, how have you been, and how has retirement been treating you?
I've been doing pretty good. I've actually been doing appearances, and I might do a match every now and then. I have been lately, you know what I mean? But it's treating me pretty good.
I was at your last match, too, in 2013, where you fought Necro Butcher. What was it like, to call it a career that night? Do you have any regrets stepping away, or was it just time for you? I know you said you probably make appearances here and there, but, that was technically the official day. But how did that feel?
It feels all right. I mean, I stayed at home for like about 2 years after that. And I found myself getting bored. Mm-hmm. So I started contacting promoters again, you know what I mean? And I would go out and do appearances, and do a show every now and then. But I mean, I feel like I accomplished a lot, you know what I mean? I made a name for myself, whether it was good or bad, in the business, you know what I mean? And I did stuff that people would imitate, but they can never get it right. You know what I mean? Mm. And I left a lot of memories in the business, and that meant a lot to me. Because I see people copying my shit all the time, Bubba and Devon. I mean, that meant a lot to me.
You got your big break working for Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling promotion. One of your biggest rivals in Smoky Mountain were the Rock and Roll Express, who were just announced as WWE Hall of Fame inductees this year. What are your thoughts on the actual Hall of Fame nod for them, and who do you feel should be inducted who hasn't yet? I mean, there's been a lot of names where people get mad to where they're not inducting the right people. Has that ever come across to you?
Steve, you know what? Honestly, bro, I don't pay that shit any attention.
No problem.
Honestly, God, I don't. I mean, to go to the Hall of Fame, I mean, in wrestling, that means absolutely nothing to me. And I don't pay it any attention. I mean, for those that do go, God bless them. But it means nothing to me. Nothing at all.
Sure. Tommy Dreamer has said that you were an amazing talker. You could talk people into hating you, and you could talk people into loving you. Did you personally find talking to be easy with how they set it up for you in wrestling?
No, it wasn't easy. It was just that was one of my stronger points. You know what I mean? And because I mean my wrestling abilities back then were very limited. So I had to have a strong point. So when I would cut my promos, I worked on my promos a lot, to make those believable. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So that helped me a lot.
Sure.
When I would cut my promos, and, I would just go out there and do my thing. You know what I mean? I wanted to make people believe and what I was saying was true,
Natural Born Killers was played as your entrance music throughout all your matches in ECW. Whose idea was it to have it play throughout the match? And did you ever get to a point where you never wanted to hear that song again?
No, actually, Paulie, we did a weapons match one night, and I asked him would he play my music during the whole match. Mm-hmm. And he asked me why. And I said, well, it seems like what we're doing is like nonstop. You know what I mean? It's like a fight scene in a movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it was like, it's just nonstop action. And we was fighting all over the building. And I said, let's just give it a try. I said, and play my song during the whole music. I mean, play my music during the whole match. And I said, when it ends, just loop it and play it again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we tested it out, and the fans were into it, and it went over real well. So he said, well, we're going to do this every night. So that's when we started doing it.
That's great. The name of the game was Weapons and Blood, which made you a very important part of ECW. You were the dangerous wild card. In this PG world that we live in today, do you think there's still room for blood to be spilt at certain events?
Well, it's like TV is so PG rated now, that would really put fans in shock. They would be more in shock, you know what I mean? And, you know, Vince has TV down there. I mean, he done got a hold of it, and it's like, it's so watered down to where, and I don't really think people really want to accept it. I mean, you still got your hardcore fans, true enough. You know, you always have them fans. They'll never go away. And I know that they would love to see blood sometimes also. But, I mean, like I said, the way the TV is now, they're not going to go for it.
Yeah. Now, you don't strike us as someone who's afraid of any man, but was there anybody ever that you worked with who made you think that, you know, damn, this is a person who I would hate to actually have a fight with?
No. No.
Perfect answer. That's we know in the past you had talks with the WWE in which you turned them down because we know there's no way that New Jack would fit into that landscape. But how important was it for you to own your own name and your character out on the independent scene? And do you have any advice for any other wrestlers who build up their names in the indies just to lose that name to a big company like WWE when they sign?
I mean, that was my whole deal when I did go and talk to them, and they wanted to own the rights to my name if I ever came there and worked and got fired or quit or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I always said there's a life after wrestling, you know what I mean? And people know who New Jack is, and nobody knows who Jerome Young is. So I couldn't go nowhere and make a penny off of my real name. You know what I mean? So I kept my name, and I just had to take what came along with it, which was not getting a job with WWE. But, I mean, I didn't care because I wasn't going to hand them my nuts and let them cut them off, and I'm just sitting there with nothing to do now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Do you think that happens to go with to where does it bother you that, you know, when WWE talks about ECW to where maybe it has to do with that deal that they never really recognize you as one of the guys who helped build that company? I mean, they always mention guys like the Dudleys or RVD, Dreamer, Sabu, but they never really talk about the original Gangsta.
The reason that happened is because I did a couple of interviews about Vince McMahon, and it got back to him. And he was offended by it. So, I mean, you know, I was always shit to him, you know what I mean? And, I mean, he went on record and said that I was the devil. He did an interview one night and said that New Jack is the devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought the shit was funny. But, I mean, they don't mention me in a lot of the, you know, books and encyclopedias that come out, you know, but I don't care. I mean, everybody knew I was there, so, I mean, I don't care.
Sure. And I got a question from one of our co-hosts. It says, back in 2012, Jerry Lawler suffered a heart attack on Raw, which led you to tweet your feelings about him. Was there a specific incident that caused you to have these strong opinions on him?
I never did like Jerry Lawler, and the time that I really hated that motherfucker was... It was a match that, do you remember Jackie?
Mm-hmm.
It was a match that she had. And Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler was in the Mid-South Coliseum. And they were sitting up top. And I was going up there to ask one of them a question. And Jerry Jarrett was talking to Lawler, and he said she looks like a little wet dog. Because they were doing a match in the ring where they had like a big tub that was full of mud. So the loser got thrown into the mud, and into that tub. And when Jerry Jarrett said that, Lawler said, yeah, she looked like a little black wet dog to me. And they started laughing about it. You know, and I'm standing right there. So then when I popped up, they were like, oh, chill. You know what I mean? And from that time, I never did like that motherfucker after that.
Sure.
You know, and when he had a heart attack, I said, yeah, I hope the motherfucker dies. I didn't bite my tongue about it, and I would have said it to his face. You know what I mean? And that was why I said it.
Sure. Now, another Memphis legend, Kamala. When he had his problems, he didn't really receive the same amount of attention that he did. Did that factor into that whole incident to where they weren't really treating him the same as well? The same amount of respect, I guess, for Kamala that they were with Jerry.
Dude, this is a fucked up business, and I mean, people pick and choose sides, and when that shit happens to Kamala, I was just like, hey, bro, get in line. Because, I mean, they treat people like that, the ones that are over, that they use it, and they push and push and push. Those are the ones that they care about. You know what I mean? Kamala, when his deal happened, they didn't make a big deal out of it because they didn't give a fuck about him. You know what I mean? He was just another worker that could be replaced. They didn't give a fuck about Kamala.
That's right. I want to let you too. Years ago, we met you at the roast for Terry Funk, and our co-host he got you to sign his O.J. Simpson jersey, which he loves. He brought out his O.J. Simpson jersey for you. You signed it for him. He has it to this day, and I think he's actually wearing it tonight, right now. But it was an honor meeting you. You're great with the fans, and I know on March 25th, you're going to be signing autographs with the Sandman at the Wrestling Universe from 1 to 3 p.m. With ESS Promotions. Can you tell the fans maybe why they should come out and meet the original Gangster New Jack?
Well, I mean, like I said, I still got true fans out there, you know what I mean? And for those that hadn't seen me in a few years, you know what I mean? You come out and hang out and kick it with me, sign autograph, take some pictures, and have a good time.
Definitely, that's right.
It'll be worth it.
That's right. Well, New Jack, man, I thank you so much for taking the time out tonight. We can't wait to meet you on March 25th. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Today's show is brought to you by...
This is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to another wrestling podcast in association with Celeb VM. Order a personal video message from me and many other wrestlers and celebrities now. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Get a personal video message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message, especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre. Buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
Celebrity video messages and another wrestling podcast team up. Be sure to head on over to celebvm.com/AWP.
Promo of the week.
This Sunday night, pay-per-view. And guess who's gonna be on it? New Jack. I hear the latest thing going right now is they putting criminals on pay-per-view. But unlike Mike Tyson, who says, I didn't do it, I say, I did it. A lot of times, got away with it. This Sunday night, I'm gonna bring you violence. My style, street style, hood style, gangster style. And you gon' see violence at its highest level. And when it's all done, you gon' know. New Jack was turned loose and he cut a fool. And whoever is standing across the ring from me, he going down. We all about it. I'm gonna be about it, and you gonna see what it's like to experience living dangerously Sunday night, because I am the most violent, dangerous man you will ever meet in your life, because the difference in me and the next guy, I never denied. The original gangster, baby.
Now it's time to talk a little bit about the Elimination Chamber. They brought it back.
Oh boy, another special, Credo.
Hey man, I know we're getting overwhelmed ever since the whole brand split, but it's like every other week there's a pay-per-view now, so we must endure. And we'll get right into it though. But it's a unique one though because they brought it back. They got rid of it last year, but it's back this year. I even hear that they might even change up the chamber a little bit. Some design, I don't know. From what I heard, it might be a new link of chain or something. Who knows what it's going to be, but that's just what they're saying online. So a different kind of chamber maybe we might see this Sunday, but regardless, it's back this year. It's a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. Let's start from the bottom and work our way to the top, and let's tell everybody what they're gonna witness this week, shall we?
Hey, there's one thing I want to talk about this card before you get into it.
Yeah, what's that?
There's only one main event for the Elimination Chamber. Not like Raw, where we had 3 for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We don't have 3 Elimination Chambers, no.
That's right, just one chamber match. And
that's right.
And now we know what it is, just one main event, guys. There's not 5 matches, not 5 main events, but here we go. So let's start from the bottom. Dolph Ziggler versus Apollo Crews and Kalisto in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Dolph Ziggler, I don't know what they want to do with him. From heel to face. One day he's going to win the world. He has a world heavyweight championship match. The next day he's working with the mid-carders. He's on the pre-show. I don't know. I love him. I wish they would have used him better than what they have, but it is what it is with him. Dolph Ziggler and poor Apollo Crews, man. Ever since the draft, they have no idea what to do with him. And they're going to probably blame, he has no character. And he's probably falling in that Cesaro boat of, he's got to grab that brass ring or whatnot. But, man, for such a talented performer, Apollo Crews, I feel like he should be a lot farther than where he is right now. And poor Kalisto, do we remember him winning the United States Championship? And now it's we don't know what to do with him anymore. And I'm sure this is probably his last match before they realize they're just going to throw him in 205 Live. So, at the end of the day, this is a simple match. There's nothing too crazy about it. It's just 3 talented guys who they don't know what to do with, and pretty much they probably don't care what happens with any of them. So, the winner, I would hope, would be Apollo Crews and Kalisto, since it's a 2-on-1 handicap match. But, anything could happen, I guess. And I think at the end of this match, regardless, I want to see Apollo Crews get pushed somewhere, man. Somewhere, give him the IC championship, give him something, because this man is talented. And I don't know, he doesn't need to talk. He doesn't need to be some gimmick that they want him to be. Just let him do what he does, pretty much, right?
Dolph Ziggler is winning this match because he jobbed to both of them in singles matches. And now that he's got this whole heel turn going, he's going to find a way to beat them both. So I'm giving this match to Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. Poor Apollo.
I'm going to pick Dolph Ziggler in this one. I mean, I don't like Kalisto. He blocked me on Twitter.
You just made the list.
Yeah, I made the block list on Twitter by Kalisto. I love Apollo Crews, but you got to give it to Dolph.
Wait a minute. Why did Kalisto block you?
Oh, this is a good story.
We gotta know. You just gotta.
So little Kalisto blocked me on Twitter because before the draft, or it was the draft, and he had that interview about the lucha thing. Oh, yeah. You guys remember that interview? Well, I tweeted to Kalisto, and I just said that was the worst interview ever, but you struck gold because you could make T-shirts out of it. Lucha thing, like that was very. I wasn't a troll.
Wow,
I think he
blocked you for that. That's horrible.
And he blocked me. Sensitive.
Little Kalisto.
Who does he think he is? Goldust blocking everybody now. I'm gonna. You know what? While we're doing this, I'm going to tweet at Kalisto right now, and just do hashtag Lucha thing.
They still remember it. They're still talking about it.
It's a sensitive subject. Sensitive subject to him.
All right, next on the card, we got Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. This is actually going to be quite the intriguing match because Mickie James had that amazing match with Asuka at the NXT. I think that was the Toronto show, if I'm not mistaken. I always knew she was talented. I never realized she was that talented because in her era, wrestling wasn't as important in the women's division as it is now. And with somebody like Becky Lynch, who's, one of the 4 horsewomen, I mean, these two can have an incredible match if they just let them do what they let them do for the NXT show. So, I mean, I would love to see Mickie James get a win here. Because I think Becky Lynch needs to be knocked down a peg or two before she could be brought back up. It's just some fresh faces. I mean, we got Naomi. You got a Carmella. I mean, these are girls that we can throw at, my wifey, Alexa Bliss. But you know what? I'm going to give this one to Mickie James. At least I'm hoping for, because I'd like to see the woman on her return get a good win.
Yeah, man. So with her track record too, her titles and championships before all these girls. I mean, these girls were nowhere near where they are now, and Mickie James, I think, needs that credibility. I think to at least show them and remind them of who she is.
So the Becky Lynch, Mickie James. I'm actually looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to seeing Mickie James on the main roster. Becky Lynch is very talented in ring, so is Mickie James. I think this is going to be a fast-paced match. I'm going to go with Mickie James on this one. And then you have Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. I'm gonna go on record right now, and I'm going to tell you guys that this is going to be match of the night. Because you got Randy Orton, who can have a good match with a broomstick. And you have Luke Harper, who I feel is the most underrated wrestler on that SmackDown Live roster. I think he can go in the ring. Yeah, I think he can go. You put him in there at Randy Orton. Randy Orton's going to bring the best out of him. Orton's obviously going to win because they have to keep him strong going into Mania. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is match of the night in my opinion.
I think it's going to be a great match. I hope something comes out of this for Harper, because, I mean, he's really nice storyline for him right now. But if he doesn't get a decent win or a push out of this somehow, I just don't see the point. But I'm in agreement. I'm hoping for something special for Luke Harper here.
The match that's a few years too little too late. Nikki Bella versus Natalya. I love Natalya. I wish they would have used her a lot better than what they ever have with her. I mean, she's a really talented wrestler, and I wish they could let her use half of her moveset that they never let her use. I just wish you guys could see some of these videos of her before WWE got a hold of her and whatever. But Nikki Bella versus Natalya. Nikki, I think they were saying that she's probably going to be taking some time off. For what? I mean, you're not going to make a big epic return. I think, she's officially in that, seasoned vet stage of her career, to where there's a lot of girls coming in that are a lot better than both of these girls, Natalya and Nikki, and that, I don't know. They're saying Nikki might have, her last match at Mania, and then she's going to take time off. They're not saying it's a retirement match. Nobody's saying anything, but I don't think anybody cares anymore. And this match, I mean, if you guys saw the promo on SmackDown, it was a little wild, but at the same time, it was like, I just want to see the other girls now. I think they've ate up all their 15 minutes, and I don't know. I think we're pretty much done with both of these girls, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think this is going to really do anything for either one of them, win, lose, or shine. I would hope Natalya wins, but in my gut, I think they're going to give it to Nikki just because she's done nothing lately or has no credibility anymore. But yeah, I don't know. This is the bathroom break, unfortunately. This Divas Revolution. No, this isn't really working for me this time. So sorry, ladies.
I've been getting a kick out of Natalya's trash talking over this. This has just been so funny.
Definitely turning it up a notch, yeah. With the fake, she said something about her tits too, fake tits or silicone or something. Don't let the silicone go to your brain.
The whole John Cena thing, yeah. I mean, is it like a little too much? Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's the most personality that we've seen out of Natalya since ever. I mean,
They really haven't given them anything, too. Like, they've been, like, on the back burner for a while, and now it's like, we'll just bring them back out to the spotlight. So it's interesting that they're giving them this much time.
What was that Natalya was doing? Like, was she burping or farting or some shit like that? Oh,
my God, yes. That was a long time ago.
She's been doing some of the worst things, and for her to, like, finally just straight talk and straight shoot, you know, and these two, they're no slouches. I mean, they're both pretty well polished in the ring. This could be a little bit of an intriguing match.
Well, here's the thing too, before you even say anything, because this should have happened how long ago? Wasn't this whole storyline where Natalya beat up Nikki backstage? I can't even remember. Was that SummerSlam or something like that? It was a long time ago, and now they're actually having the one-on-one match. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what they're doing.
You know, if you would have went back 5 years ago and said, we have a pay-per-view card coming up with 3 women's matches.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that, too.
3 bathroom breaks at that time in that era. But I'm actually really into this feud. I am. And it's because of Natalya. She has made this feel real by how she's talking, bringing up the John Cena stuff, the Total Divas stuff, the stuff that we as fans kind of feel with this push with Nikki Bella. So I'm actually invested. I want to see Natalya get the win, but I'm going to be in agreement with you, Credo, when it comes to the fact that Nikki Bella is probably going to get the win.
Yeah, because I feel like she hasn't gotten anything in a while. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's like been a really big Nikki Bella win since she had that Divas Championship. So I don't know.
Yeah, but we got the tag team turmoil match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You got the champions American Alpha versus the Usos versus Breezango versus the Ascension versus the Vaudevillains versus Heath Slater and Rhino. I'm going to tell you right now, this tag division looks so depressing. It's depressing. They need something. They need a revival. That's what they need. But we'll go there to another day. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see that? American Alpha is going to win this match. They have to, just to keep them looking strong. Just because the last thing I want to see, I don't want to see Breezango win the tag titles. Come on, the Fashion Police. Let's be real here. Poor Tyler Breeze.
Oh, poor.
I feel so bad for that guy.
That guy needs to be on 205 Live. There's just no question about it. The poor bastard.
You know, the funny thing is, before they even brought up 205 Live, before they even brought up the cruiserweights, and there was rumors about this, I said Tyler Breeze would be the perfect guy, heel on the cruiserweight division. I mean, he's walking around like 200. He's being billed at, I believe. Mm-hmm. But American Alpha is going to take this match.
You know what? I do want to say the Ascension this week looked rather impressive. They let them do. They basically let them do their thing this week. You know, I mean, we haven't seen them work as a cohesive unit since the NXT days because they're always doing jobs. These two guys can perform, man. They looked great this week on SmackDown. I don't think they're going to win the titles, but I think if they have a good enough showing, they could be put in contention.
Yeah, I mean, all these tag teams, I have like something wrong with them. Like Heath Slater and Rhino, their 15 minutes ended 60 minutes ago. The Vaudevillains, man, they need something. Like, you could still call them the Vaudevillains, but give them a damn new intro or something to where it worked great in NXT, but it does not carry over to SmackDown, to the main roster for what they're doing. They're great. Don't get me wrong, they're good in the ring, but they just need a makeover, you know, with their entrance, their look, or something. The Ascension, man, poor Ascension, another team that came up and they just, you know, haven't really done anything, and they just need to look like badasses again. And I don't know, hopefully something will happen in 2017 for them. Breezango, man, we already know that just needs to break up. And Tyler
Credo
Breeze
loves watching them hand out those citations. You know what I'm saying, Mike? Loves it.
Between them and the other guys handing out, damn.
Yeah, the timeshare.
Yeah, I'm like, stop it. Like, and that's what's funny. Fandango was great as it was. I mean, the man had a WrestleMania match against Jericho, and now this is what's gone on and what's happened about it. The Usos, man, ever since turning heel, I thought it was cool, but now it's just like they're not. I don't know. I feel like they're not as good. they are good heels, but I don't think they're using them to their full effectiveness. I don't know, but American Alpha defines tag teams. Every time you talk about a tag team in wrestling, American Alpha, I think, defines it. Out of all these teams on here, and man, like you said, something definitely has to happen. Somebody needs to come up. Some of these teams got to go. Some of the teams got to split. Something needs to happen. But SmackDown, man, it's too campy. It's too cartoony over there, I think. Like American Alpha is a solid team. The Usos are great. Probably were better faces than they are heels. Breezango needs to split. Heath Slater and Rhino need to split. Vaudevillains just, it's just like a whole I don't know. But yeah.
All right, well, the next why I got stuck talking about both these bitches matches, saying, no, I'm just kidding. But this one out of the three is probably the one I could care less about. It's probably the one that I'm least looking forward to. I mean, and Naomi is an amazing athlete. She's great in the ring. Alexa Bliss, another hard-working woman who just, oh, God, and she's so hot. Did I mention that she's hot? I love that woman. Anyway, point is, for the title match to be my least favorite one that I'm looking forward on the card, kind of says a lot. The build-up for this has been sloppy. I mean, we've had, she pinned her, once or twice. They're doing the exact same thing that they did on Raw for Bayley and Charlotte, except it's not translating as well because Naomi is not as popular as a Bayley, and Alexa Bliss is not as popular as a Charlotte. So, you know what? They tried to copy the exact same thing, and they did it too soon, and I think it's sloppy. But at the end of the day, I have a feeling Alexa Bliss is going to Mania with that belt around her waist.
Yeah, Naomi's I think has been phenomenal. I mean, she's definitely talented at what she does for women's wrestling. She probably doesn't have the personality as far as that could be fine-tuned, but I mean, ever since she turned that neon gimmick on, that was great. But they haven't had a black women's champion probably since Miss Jackie. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
It's true.
It's definitely a little step for the women's division to have her. But I mean, I think she's definitely paid her dues to get this title match, and I'd be surprised if she doesn't win. So like I said, I don't want them to move the titles around too much, but at the same time, it might be too close to Mania. But yeah, maybe it's a test match for Mania. Let's see how well they do.
And I would like to say, I mean, I'd like to quote Ron Burgundy over here and say that Naomi, she has a breathtaking hiney. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, there you go.
Kuter, did you mention how hot Alexa Bliss was? Did you forget to mention that?
I did mention how hot she was, and that she is my
wife. Yeah, well, I'm going to be a home wrecker one day.
Oh,
I'm going to break that marriage up.
There we go.
Oh, boy.
You know what? This match I think is going to be better than what most people are going to think it's going to be, and I'm going to pick Naomi. The only reason why I'm looking at a WWE logic, Naomi going into WrestleMania, which is in Orlando, which is her hometown,
that's true.
Going in as champion. So I see them taking the belt off of her. Just because of the fact, that scenario, if you're in your hometown, you're going to lose the title. I mean, look what they did on Raw.
Yep.
Sasha Banks in Boston, she loses the belt.
I do want to point out that Naomi backwards is Imone. I don't know if that's had anything to do with
Credo. Well done.
I had that was it. That was all I had nothing else going for me. Sorry.
Get some jungle fever. I'll make her moan.
Well, there you go, guys. This is why we're here. The Elimination Chamber. Bray Wyatt versus The Miz versus Dean Ambrose, who's the Intercontinental Champion, versus Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles versus John Cena, who is the WWE Champion, in the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE World Championship. Guys, instead of just calling what's going to happen, I figure let's each book the ending, if you will. Pick somebody who's going to win. Let's try to each pick somebody different. Maybe we can predict what's going to happen, because, going into this, every mark online, every dirt sheet saying Bray Wyatt's winning. I don't know what to say about this, because, I mean, for me personally, if he does win, is it then you go to Mania and then he loses to Randy Orton? I feel bad in that whole scenario, but I mean, that's just what people are saying. I mean, there's I think a chance for everybody in this match to win it, from The Miz. I mean, look at his the past few months with The Miz. The Miz could win this. I mean, that'd be credible going into WrestleMania. I mean, he's had one hell of a past few months, just being totally different than he's ever been before. Dean Ambrose, could he be the IC champion and the WWE champion? Possibly. They've been loving Baron Corbin, so, there's another scenario where Baron Corbin could win the championship, maybe too early in his career, but hey, it's another scenario. AJ Styles, could he regain it back? Or could John Cena go in as champion and walk out as champion? A lot of scenarios, guys, because this is going to lead into what's happening at WrestleMania. Who will face Randy Orton for the WWE Championship match? Kuter, I'll let you start it off, man. Who are you picking? Can you book this match and give us your prediction?
Dude, I would love to see Baron Corbin win this. He has been as impressive on SmackDown as Braun Strowman has been on Raw. And we're talking about two young guys who are just making their way up, and they're getting over. And the fans really Braun Strowman is getting a positive response from the crowd. And at times, even Baron Corbin. And he's putting in that work. And I've always been big on him, even when he was down in NXT. And he sucks. Listen, the guy is a talented worker. He can put on a good match, and his finisher is just amazing to watch. And much like Randy Orton, he pretty much can't hit that thing out of anywhere. So, me saying that, I'd like to see something new. I don't want to see another. It's just too much of the same old saying. I'd like to see things move around a bit. I mean, I love AJ Styles, and unfortunately, my scenario basically takes him out of any legit match in WrestleMania, because if he's not in the title match, then where does he go? I mean, you could put John Cena up against anybody at Mania.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I just don't see where he goes. Oh wait, no, I got a great idea. Baron Corbin can defend his Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal title at WrestleMania. No, let's give this guy. Let's show. And the reason for this is, look at the progress he's made in a year.
Yeah.
He debuted at WrestleMania, and now he's a champion defending his belt a year later. That would be a great story.
Oh, definitely. I think for your point too. I mean, I think having him win it, being the WWE champion, I think right now it's good because technically you have it split to where Raw has the Universal. Technically, your SmackDown has the true WWE Championship, but now that it's split, you have two world champions, so you can kind of give these championships out to other talents instead of just holding it for just these handful of guys. So, I mean, I think that's a great story going in, but I think my one question to you, which will be the same question to Mike, if Corbin goes into Mania as champion, does he walk out of Mania as champion?
I'd really say it depends who they put him up against.
Well, Randy Orton,
put him up against Orton. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a one-on-one match, because John Cena.
Yeah.
Oh, I get my rematch clause, so it's going to end up being a triple threat.
Well, AJ Styles still has a rematch clause too, but that's still in the books.
That's true too. And if they turn that into a fatal four-way, that would be cool. Like, I would love to see something like that. A fatal four-way elimination. That would be cool. It would be something different. So, I mean, if you have all these guys with all the rematch clauses and all this bullshit, enough with the rematch clauses, by the way. If you lose this belt,
you lost
back
it.
Up the ladder. Yeah, really.
Well, that's cool. All right, well, Mike, give me your prediction. How do you see this Elimination Chamber match happening?
I got to say, I love Baron Corbin. I've heard they've been trying to groom him to be the next big guy, and I wouldn't mind seeing the belt on him. It might be too early, but I have no objections against it. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt winning this match, simply because they've already started telling the story between him and Orton. So they kind of just handed to us on a silver platter what's going to be the main event at WrestleMania. Is it a good main event? No, I don't think it's going to be the type of match that closes out a show. I think it's the type of match that would open the show. But I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt, simply because of the fact that they already started telling that story.
Now, it's a good pick. And, if you think about it, the past few years, Bray Wyatt has fought Cena, has fought The Undertaker, and then last year the Cena and The Rock and the whole match at WrestleMania. And now, this year, going into WrestleMania as a WWE champion, I mean, the man has paid his dues. But, you know, once again, would he hold on to that championship? I mean, I don't remember. Well, I'm trying to think in recent memory. I'm sure we can all go back and Google it, but just off the top of my head, you know, I would have really liked to see Bray Wyatt win the championship at Mania, but I think. What do you say, Mike? I mean, going in, I think. Do you see him retaining it against Orton, or do you think he'd lose it to Orton at Mania?
I would have him retain that title at Mania.
Yes, I agree 100%. I would feel so bad though. I mean, because Randy Orton, I mean, he's had it. It's not a big deal anymore to him. But it's using his name as a top player to make it a credible match. I think would be great. But I feel bad for any of these guys if they win it just to lose it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania because. Orton, Cena, they don't need it anymore. And but I mean, like Bray Wyatt, man, you just look at his track record. He's paid his dues. Give him the championship. See what he does with it. But it's another great pick.
I mean, just like you said.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just like you said, the name itself, Randy Orton. That name by itself, if Bray Wyatt can go over successfully defend that title against a guy at the caliber of Randy Orton, it's a big name by itself. That helps elevate Bray Wyatt as that face of fear, the next Undertaker, everybody likes to call him. That's why Bray Wyatt needs to successfully defend that title at Mania.
For sure. Now, guys, I mean, if there's nothing else said, I'll say mine. But I think we all see the dirt sheets, we all read them, we all see what's happening, and people have been saying AJ Styles will be facing Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Now, first of all. Fucking
what?
First
Where
of all,
the hell have you seen that?
I've read that one.
It's out there. Trust me, it's out there. So first of all, I want to say I hope that's just shit. I hope it's just bullshit in the air, because to take a name like AJ Styles and the caliber of where he is at right now in his career, to put him against anybody else, you could have him against Heath Slater, and I would love it better than a Shane McMahon match. I mean, Shane McMahon has no business.
What about James Ellsworth?
No.
Would you rather that?
No. That's even below. Okay, I'll take Shane then. No, but I mean, like having AJ go against like McMahon does nothing. I mean, I want to see a top tier match. Shane McMahon's not going to give him a top tier. Like Shane's done. Last year, okay, he did the whole little thing off the top. All right, that's it. I don't need any more from Shane. He's done. Thanks for the little curtain call. Goodbye now. AJ Styles, in my opinion, I would love, or not has to, but I would feel should win out of all these guys, because I think if we get an AJ Styles versus a Randy Orton match, that's going to be one hell of a match at WrestleMania. But then I think also you would get that John Cena to make it a three-way kind of match. So even having John Cena versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles and have AJ Styles retain over the both of them, man, what a year. Last year, look at him. Last year, jobbing to Jericho, then who'd have thought, not even a year into the company, and he would be the WWE champion. The man has been carrying the boat for Cena since he was away filming whatever he does. And man, like I said, no matter if it's SmackDown or Raw, like Kevin Owens and AJ Styles being the world champion over 6 months now, or it's been a while, I don't know how long, but both of these guys have definitely paid their dues, holding the championship, and for them to go into Mania without the championship, man, I feel it's so horrible. Like the whole year you're holding this title and then you lose it like a month before WrestleMania just for somebody else to have a match with it. I'm like, why? Who thinks of this shit? So at the end of the day, at my chamber win, I would say AJ Styles beats Cena or whoever else. Even Cena gets eliminated. I think AJ Styles should win that championship back, making him a two-time WWE champion going into Mania. And, I think he'd have a hell of a match with just even Orton, or if Cena does get thrown into it. So, I don't know. What's good about this, because all of our picks from AJ to Baron to Bray, man, I see them all happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. I mean, they're all good picks. And out of the guys that we didn't pick, guys, I mean, from The Miz, Dean Ambrose, what do you think about them? I mean, do you think they have something else planned for them, or I mean, could you possibly see any of those guys winning or coming out as a winner? Or not?
I got a great booking idea for John Cena. if he would just tear his pec again like a week before. Yeah.
He tears his pec. He tears his pec. He'll be back in a couple days.
All right, like literally a day before WrestleMania, tears his pec, clear off, or maybe he's driving his car, right, and he sticks his hand out the window and it gets hit by oncoming traffic and it rips his whole arm off.
Oof.
I don't know. That would be great because I'm just tired of the. I am. I know, and I dwell on this with these rematch clause bullshit. I'm so over it because he always has to be the top guy in the top match. And I'm over it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think even Cena's saying too, like he's going to be filming American Grit 2 after Mania, and he's got a movie coming up after Mania, and so I think Cena was just probably the placeholder this time. So I don't see Cena doing, maybe if he's doing anything at Mania, even if he's in this championship match, he ain't winning it. So I don't know, guys. I think we talked this out, man. We talked about the Elimination Chamber. Mike Colon joining us this week. Mike, man, it was such a great time having you on. I think you definitely have to be back next week. What do you say, Kuter?
I say it's a good choice. Mike Colon is one of my favorite marks to discuss wrestling with, so he's got to come back.
I think I might actually come back. I think I'm going to come back and talk some wrestling with you guys, whether I'm pissed off, whether I love it, whether I hate it, whether I want to punch Vince McMahon in the face for the booking decisions he makes. I think I'll be back.
Nice. So we got an all-new triple threat going, everybody. Make sure you head on over to anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. Tweet us, Facebook us, all that fun stuff. I don't know, Cooter. Till next week.